Welcome to the next tutorial of ethical hacking and penetration testing, and this would be my last tutorial for the DDoS attacks. And before we move on to the client-side application hacks, I want to do at least one more operating system hack. And vulnerabilities still exist in the new operating system, but they're becoming more rare and rarer. In the previous tutorials, I taught you as to how I can go ahead and do a DDoS attack after I have access to the person's computer. But in this tutorial, it would be something different. I won't be running any application from his computer, or I won't be first accessing his computer, or even not accessing his computer. I will not even access his computer at the very beginning. So Windows 7 was released like a lot of time before, but still there are people who actually use that. I don't know for why, because Windows 8 has much more security, but again it has its own different weird kind of bugs which will again irritate a person, and the person will be so irritated that he will go back to using Windows XP. It may be a hyperbole or something, but that's how Windows works. So I would anytime prefer a Linux system, but even Linux has its own bugs, and at least in Windows you can at least solve a bug, but in Linux it does not have that amount of bugs, but it is 10 times quicker, and it's almost like most of the time it is impossible to hack unless it is the user's fault through social engineering, and Linux is almost vulnerable to most of the kinds of attacks unless the person is extremely intelligent, and he tries to go ahead and find some bugs in the kernels and tries to inject his virus inside that, and that also through the source file, that is through the source website, which is again almost like nearly impossible to do, but not impossible. So besides the Linux talk, in this hack I will take advantage of the flaw in the Windows 7 and the Windows Server 2008 operating system that will create an infinite loop and crash the system. Although this is not nearly as much fun as owning the system, it can be very destructive to an institution that relies upon this system to run their organization. And as you can see, most of the operating system, or even I'll just go ahead and show you the Microsoft website. You can go ahead and use the techniques such as the DNS one, which I taught you in the previous tutorials, in these different tools through which I can go ahead and actually gather the information as to which server, Windows server, is the person actually using, whether it's 2008, 2003 or 2012. And if you go and check, most of the people will normally use the 2008 server because it is very user friendly, but at the same time it has its own vulnerabilities. So it can be very destructive to this organization without them knowing that how actually system works. They directly go ahead and implement that. So enough talk, let's get started. Fire up our Metasploit and let's hack. So if you're new to Metasploit, then check out my previous tutorials as to how you can go ahead and do these kind of attacks and pass some hacks. So little background material. Remember that Metasploit has different types of modules, exploits, payloads, auxiliaries, encoders, NOPs and posts. So in this hack, I will use the auxiliary module to attack the Windows 7 and the Windows Server 2008 based system SMBs. So just go ahead and fire up the MSF console by typing MSF console and wait for around 2 to 3 minutes, or maybe 5 if you have a slower system. Okay, so we have our Metasploit started, and if you got these same things, access security permission denied, then this is just for you can say it's a kind of a troll that Metasploit has written. So if you're new to Metasploit and you see these things, then don't worry about that, because this is just for fun, and that Metasploit has created so that it could go ahead and troll new noobs or new users. So just don't worry about that and ignore. And as you can see, we have 1389 exploits, 788 auxiliary, 356 payloads, and 37 encoders, 8 knobs, and 223 posts over here. And when I say post, it is not our Facebook post, it is the post exploit that we would use after going ahead and hacking into a PC. So let's go ahead and start our exploit by typing use auxiliary. I used this module when I was using Backtrack. I don't exactly know whether this still works on our Kali Linux, but still go ahead and try to use that. Auxiliary Windows SMB / MS10 underscore negotiate, I believe, and I'll just type, I think that this was underscore loop. Let's check if we have this module or if this has been, okay, I believe this has been deleted. And let's check. Okay, so we have all these things and we wanted the Windows SMB. So let's check. We have the SMB exploit, and we want the MS10. I believe MS10 was removed. We want more. Let's check. The SMB09. Yeah, we have the SMB10 negotiate response loop. Perfect. So we will be using this module, and the only thing about it was that it's written 006 over here, and I'll type Control C and I'll use I'll just go and delete this. I'll paste it over here. Perfect. So, and now I'll go ahead and type show options, and okay, S should be smaller. So as you can see that we have, these are the SRV host, SRV port, SSL. That would be the false since we are negotiating SSL for incoming connections, and this would be the path for a custom SSL certificate. So now I will type the auxiliary actually module that we have used, and then we will click show options. So now we will be setting the SRV host. So and we will type the SRV host by going ahead and typing SET, and let's say, so we will be using the SRV, we will be setting up the SRV host that is our computer. So I'll just type ifconfig, and this is my IP address. In your case it would be different. So I'll just type set in capital. Make sure that you write it exactly as it is, or you can just copy paste it from over to here. Set SRV host and just type paste and hit enter. We have set our SRV host. Now we need to go ahead and set our okay. So yeah, perfect. Now since we have our SRV host, now we need to go ahead and use the run, and in the last step we will run our auxiliary modules before we go ahead and actually execute these things. So everything would be different. So now this would be the last step that I would be doing, is that, and we will run the auxiliary module, and once the auxiliary module executes, it generates a shared folder link, which then you can go ahead and send to the target machine. And in this case the link would be something different. So I'll just type run over here. I don't remember exactly. Run should be in capital or small. I'll just go ahead and run. Okay, perfect. It is running, and trigger the vulnerable client to try to access shared anything. And so what I would do is that I'll just go ahead and copy this, and I'll go to this website over here. I can go ahead and run this by going ahead and tapping it over here. Most probably I should be able to. Let's see if I am able to. As you can see, my computer has become a bit slow. It will probably hang itself. Perfect. So what I actually did was that as you can see, if you go ahead and run this computer, it will not run. It will just go ahead and stop. So yes, that's a bit confusing. So what I did was that I should go ahead and send this specific thing to my target computer, and as soon as he clicks this specific link, I can go ahead and send him something like, to make it look more safe, I can go ahead and send him some kind of web page, or I can say, oh my god, look at this specific image or something, through email or through Facebook or something else. But as soon as he clicks this thing, his computer is hanged. As you can see, I cannot go ahead and type anything, or I cannot go ahead and run anything from over here. I'll just try to press Control Alt, and then my mouse will be released. If I click over here, it's hang. I cannot do anything. So in fact, I have DDosed my Windows 7. If you're a bit confused, I'll explain this to you once more. I created this. This is a SMB loop over here. As you can see, I used this specific payload to go ahead and attack this computer, and then I went ahead and created this specific link. So I just needed to go ahead and send this specific link to our target, and as soon as he clicked this link or ran this link through the browser or through run or through any other thing, this computer will freeze and it will not move, or nothing will happen in his computer. As you can see, not even the numlock option will be running. So yes, that is it for this tutorial. You can just go ahead and send any random links to the person's computer, and he will be able to he will just crash his own computer by himself, and he won't even come to know what exactly happened. So that's it guys for this tutorial, and that would be the last tutorial for the DDosing of a computer or through Kali Linux or for the DDoS. In the next tutorial, we will be taking a look at how we can go ahead and actually hack into an Android system. But as I don't have an Android with me right now, I'll be just showing you as to how we can do that. I won't be actually able to perform an Android attack. So that's it guys for this tutorial. See you next time.